Hi guys, it's Stock Curry, and we have a lot to go over today, so let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about is scammers. There are a ton of scammers on the comment section right now. Basically what they do is they go in and they'll reply to one of your comments and they'll say, hey, please contact my trader or my advisor or my investor or whatever, and they provide a WhatsApp and a phone number. Guys, if you guys see that, please do not contact them. They will steal all of your money. If you see anything that deals with a WhatsApp, do not contact them. They are a scammer. I don't care if it says Stock Curry. Anybody can go out there and create a channel name that says Stock Curry and steal my profile picture and make it look like me. Okay, it's not me. I do not have a WhatsApp. Do not contact anybody on WhatsApp. Okay, second thing that we need to talk about is for those of you who are kind of new to trading, let's say you went out this past week, you panicked, you got scared, you sold a bunch of stocks. You literally sold at the bottom. It was the absolute worst time to sell. Last week was not the time to sell. Last week was the time to buy. So if you are new to trading and you panicked last week and you sold, I would strongly recommend that you take a trading course that will help you learn how to be profitable in the market. I've looked at a lot of different trading courses over the years, and I honestly believe that by far the best one is ZipTraderU. That's why I actually reached out to ZipTrader and worked out a discount for you guys, viewers of this channel. So if you are interested in taking a trading course to learn how to trade profitably in the stock market, I strongly recommend you take ZipTraderU. I worked out a 15% discount for you guys. Believe me, it will pay for itself many times over. Check out the description. In the description below, I have instructions on how to get 15% off ZipTraderU. Now, the next thing I need to briefly talk to you guys about is Webull. I know a lot of you guys are still stuck in Robinhood. You probably don't like the fact that you have very limited before and after hours trading. Look, guys, the markets open up at 4 a.m. on the East Coast. They close at 8 p.m. on the East Coast. If you don't have access to the full 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. pre-market and after hours trading, you guys need to get a Webull. It will give you access to the full pre-market and after hours trading. And the biggest hiccup that a lot of people have had is that Robinhood charges a $75 transfer fee to transfer out of Robinhood. Well, guess what? Webull's running a promotion right now. They're going to reimburse your a fee to actually transfer from Robinhood to Webull. So you'll pay the $75 in Robinhood, and then when your money gets over to Webull, they're just going to put $75 back into your account. In addition, they're also going to give you some free stuff like free level 2 quotes. So now is the absolute best time to be transferring over to Webull. Also, if you sign up using my link in the description below, you're going to get one free stock just for signing up. You get a second free stock when you deposit $100. So now is the absolute best time to transfer from Robinhood to Webull if you're still stuck in Robinhood. All right, the last thing that we need to talk about is Patreon. So I mentioned Patreon on my video yesterday. I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think it would be a good idea for me to start a Patreon? If so, how much would you pay? And what benefits do you think I should add? Now, I made it very clear in my video yesterday that I would never take away from anything that I am doing on YouTube. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in uploading a video earlier just for Patreon members or anything like that. I don't think that's right. I think that people that have Patreons, it should be an added value that goes above and beyond their YouTube videos. So if I ever did a Patreon, I would not take away from anything that I'm doing here on YouTube. It would just be an added value. So in the end, what ends up happening is when you ask people in a community for their opinions, you get a wide range of opinions. Now, a lot of the opinions will center. It's like a bell curve, right? A lot of opinions bulk up in the center, and then you get a few outliers, right? So we got a few people that were like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you mentioned the word Patreon. I hate you. I'm unsubscribing. I'm never watching you again. And then you got people over here like, oh my gosh, I love you. I'd pay $100 a month for a Patreon. And then you get, the bulk of the people in the middle. And what I found from the bulk of you is a couple of things. First of all, most of you would be willing to pay $5 a month. Second thing is, there were 3 things that most of you said you would be looking for. Number 1 is a morning watch list. Number 2 is my buys and sells throughout the week, possibly my portfolios. And then number 3 would be some special live videos once or twice a month just for Patreon members. Now, I've got 3 problems with all of that. First of all, when it comes to the morning alerts, my problem is I stay up very, very late at night uploading these videos. Yes, I try to get them up before the pre-market opens. For me, that's about 1 to 2 a.m. my time, so I'm going to bed. The entire time that pre-market is open, I'm sleeping. So that's my problem. I can't actually give you guys a morning alert because I'm sleeping. And that's kind of the whole point of these videos anyway. So what I recommend is if you guys want a morning alert, and you're right, you do need morning alerts because my videos are a recap of the prior day. It can't tell you what's going on pre-market and what might pop that day. So you do need a morning alert. It is absolutely something you guys need to gain access to. And I've got to tell you, I've looked at a lot of morning alerts from a lot of different traders across YouTube and Twitter and many other platforms. And by far the best person that does the best morning alerts is ZipTrader, once again. And his morning alerts are provided to his ZipTraderU members. So, you know, I've said it before, I'm just going to throw it out there and say it again. If you just pay the money, I think it's $340 on my discount. If you just pay the money, one morning trade will more than make up for the cost of ZipTraderU. He has a lot of these alerts that go out, and sometimes those stocks are up 70% or more in a single day. Seriously, one alert will make up for it. There are some people that take ZipTraderU because they honestly need to learn how to trade, and they're a new trader and they need to learn how to be profitable. They're sick and tired of losing money, and they're like, I'm done losing money. I'm just going to pay the money and I'm going to learn how to trade successfully. And there's some people that have been trading successfully for years and they just want access to the morning updates and morning alerts, and they go pay for ZipTraderU just to get them. Either way, it's worth it. I mean, it's like a double bonus. So that's my problem with giving you guys a morning alert is I can't do it because I'm sleeping. And honestly, ZipTraderU already does an excellent job of it. So I'm just going to refer you guys to him. Now, the second thing is the buy and sell alerts. Obviously, I'm already doing that on Twitter and Facebook. If you guys want to follow what I buy and sell throughout the day, just go sign up for my, or just follow me on Twitter or Facebook. You don't really have to sign up. I have links to my Twitter and Facebook in the description below. And now, obviously, I could move those over to Patreon. You know, it's a possibility. But the third thing is, you guys wanted some live videos, like 1 or 2 live videos just for Patreon members. And somebody in the comments came up with a good idea. It's like, why don't you just do the live videos on YouTube? And I was like, that's actually a great idea. So here's the long story short. I'm not going to give you guys morning alerts. I recommend you get those from ZipTrader. I'm just going to keep doing the my buys and sells on Twitter and Facebook for you guys. And we'll just add 1 or 2 live video feeds a month. I don't think I can do it yet, but hopefully in a few months I can start that up. And we're just going to ignore the whole Patreon thing. I don't think Patreon makes sense for this channel. It's not something that I can do and keep up with and do it well. So because of that, I've decided not to do a Patreon. So morning alerts, ZipTraderU, buys and sells, Facebook or Twitter. They're in my links in the description below. And then we'll add 1 or 2 live videos a month on YouTube at some point in the future, not right now. All right, guys. Those are all the updates I have for you. Let's get into today's stock picks because there were a lot of videos that were uploaded today. So we got quite a few stock picks to go over. Now, one more thing before we get to that. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to give you guys my own personal stock picks. And I got to be honest with you, over the past few weeks, I just haven't seen anything that's really worth buying. Everything has been dropping and tanking and going down. And I just haven't really seen any good buys lately. So that's why I haven't given you guys anything beyond what any of the other YouTubers have talked about. So, all of that said, for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 10 YouTubers. I then compile all of my analysis into a daily video that I post right here on this channel. I spend hours every day watching YouTube videos so that you don't have to. All you have to do is watch one video each day and you will get every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers. And all I ask in return is that you click that like button, subscribe, and then click the bell icon and click all so that you can get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. All right, before we get to today's stock picks, I just want to remind everyone that I'm not a financial advisor and none of the YouTubers I analyze are financial advisors either. Today's video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who are wondering, you are currently looking at the Webull desktop app. I use Webull for my trading and I also use Webull in all of my videos. Now, for those of you wondering what my prediction is for Monday, I will tell you that right now it's not looking good. The Asian markets are red. The markets over here are starting to turn a little bit green, but our futures, we are actually down 1% on the NASDAQ. Now, futures aren't always a great indication of what the market's going to do at open. They can always turn around, but as of right now, it is not looking good. Now, that might surprise you since the Senate did pass the stimulus bill over this past weekend, but like I had said a couple days ago, the stimulus bill isn't really going to affect when this market turns around because it really wasn't based so much on an economic drop. It was really based more upon the fact that a lot of these technology stocks were just overpriced and overvalued. So this is really just more of a technology correction than anything wrong with the economy per se. However, I do believe that a full passing of the stimulus bill that is passed by the Senate, the House, and signed by Biden will be something to trigger this market to turn around and start going back up. However, at this point, it does look like we are going to retest those lows from Friday, so just be prepared for that. All right, let's get into today's stock picks. Okay, first up is AAPL. This is Apple, and Christine thinks AAPL is the best stock to own if you're just starting out and only have enough money to buy one stock. Next up is AMC. This is AMC Movie Theaters. Trace Trades reviewed AMC again Sunday evening. He explained why AMC is still ripe for a short squeeze. Now, short interest is down to 21%, but the failure to deliver could cause the price to rise, which could trigger a small short squeeze. There is a rumor that AMC will do a share count, and if that happens, the market makers will be forced to deliver, which will be the catalyst that could trigger the short squeeze. Even if AMC does not short squeeze, it is still a good pandemic reopening play. Now, personally, I'm looking at the technicals, and it's a mixed bag. The MACD is looking very bearish right now, but the EMAs are still looking bullish. The RSI is right in the middle, so this really could go either way. This could go up this week or it could go down. There's really no way to tell. I think AMC is a gamble at this point, so if you decide to buy it, I would strong recommend setting a stop loss on AMC. Trace Trades thinks this will drop down to $7.50 or lower in the short term, and I agree. How low it goes, though, is anybody's guess. Now, earnings are coming up on Wednesday, March 10th after the market closed, so that could be a strong upward catalyst on AMC. Next up is Boeing. ZipTrader gave a price target of $300. ZipTrader said this is one of the last pandemic recovery plays that is still well below all-time highs. Now, technically, the stock is looking great on the weekly and monthly charts. The RSI is bullish, and the MACD is also turning bullish. There might be some volatility in the short term, but in the long term, this looks great. Next up is BNGO. This is Bionanogenomics, and both Richard Allen and Keenan Grace released videos Saturday night discussing an article that was released by Zacks Research. Essentially, BNGO has earnings coming up, and because analysts have been raising their earnings estimates recently, Zacks thinks that BNGO is going to beat earnings. BNGO is set to report earnings on Thursday, March 11th after the market closes. Richard Allen thinks we're going to see a good week for BNGO, but I'm not convinced. If we look at the chart, we can see that BNGO is still trading between the 50-day and 100-day EMAs. We can also see that the MACD is still bearish. The only sign we have of any bullishness is the rise in the RSI. So there's a chance that BNGO retests the 100-day EMA or even the 200-day EMA before rebounding. Of course, technical analysis is not a guarantee, and there's a chance that BNGO rises, but just in case the technical analysis holds, I would recommend setting a tight stop loss on BNGO if you decide to buy at the current price. Keenan Grace gave us a buy under price of $6, which would be under the 100-day EMA. If it does drop below $6, there's a chance it drops all the way down to the 200-day EMA at $4 before bottoming out and rebounding. Next up is CCIV. This is a SPAC, and they're merging with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an American EV company and a competitor to Tesla. Stockmo said that he bought CCIV as a long-term trade, and he continues to add to his position. He really likes this stock. Next up is CHPT. This is ChargePoint, formerly under SPAC symbol SBE, now trading under ticker symbol CHPT. Stockmo said this is the #1 stock he's considering buying more of this week. He also showed us that the average analyst price target is $42.50, which represents a 62% upside from Friday's closing price. Technically, this does look like it bottomed out on Friday and will start going back up this week. Next up is CLOV. This is Clover Health, and this is a Medicare Advantage provider. ZipTrader reminded us that a lot of negative news has come out lately, and a lot of it is completely ridiculous. Now, technically, I do like the fact that we finally got a green hammer on Friday. This is bullish. We can also see that the RSI bounced. Now the MACD is still quite bearish, but I mean seriously, at some point this has got to bottom out and start going back up. This stock is oversold. There's absolutely no reason for this stock to be trading under $10, except for the fact that short seller reports have been coming out about it. ZipTrader is right. The news that these short sellers have been releasing on CLOV is completely ridiculous. When the bulls are finally able to retake the bears, we should be looking at a nice rebound on CLOV. Next up is CRSR. This is Corsair Gaming. Dead Inside said CRSR caught his attention and he might do a full video on it this week. Technically, CRSR bounced off of the 200-day EMA on Friday, but the RSI and MACD are still bearish, so I do think CRSR will continue to drop this week before finding a bottom. Next up is CRWD. This is CrowdStrike, and this is a cybersecurity company used by banks and other large companies to help cybersecurity professionals manage threats. Chris Sain thinks CRWD would make a great long-term hold. He said he thinks this will double, but he did not give a reason why. Now technically I can tell you that this is very bearish. The RSI is bearish, the MACD is bearish, and the EMAs are bearish. This stock looks like it's going to go down to the 200-day EMA before it bounces. So if you want to buy CRWD, I would wait until it gets around $160 before buying. Next up is CTRM. This is Castro Maritime. They are a commercial shipping company. Keenan Grace reminded us that CTRM was profitable prior to the pandemic. Keenan Grace also mentioned an EPS, but remember that when a company's earnings are negative, they don't have an earnings per share because they don't have any earnings. Their EPS is technically negative. So when a company's earnings are negative, you can't look at EPS. Now taking a look at the technicals, this is still pretty bearish, but it is showing signs of reaching a bottom. The stock bounced off of the 200-day EMA on Friday, which is good since CTRM is still recovering. We also noticed the RSI bounced, although it's not into oversold territory yet. The MACD remains bearish as well. So I think we'll see a continued drop in price this week on CTRM with a retest of the 200-day EMA. The 200-day EMA is at 64 cents, and we also have support at 64 cents, so that is going to be a strong level of support that CTRM is going to have trouble dropping below. Keenan Grace gave a buy-in price of 65 cents and an ideal buy-in price of 50 cents. Personally, I would try to buy CTRM under 70 cents with a stop loss at 54 cents. I do think CTRM will bottom out and start going back up sometime this week or next. Next up is FCEL. This is Fuel Cell Energy and their renewable energy company. Smart Trader said he would be buying more FCEL on Monday and give a $30 price target. Next up is FSR. This is Fisker and they're a car company getting into EVs. Chris Sain mentioned FSR today as one of 4 EV plays that he likes. He gave a buy-in price of $20 and an ideal buy-in price of $19. Now technically FSR continues to drop hard. The RSI is bearish, the MACD is about to turn bearish. This stock has a long history of bouncing off of the 100-day EMA. So I'm going to give a buy-in price of $17. Next up is IPOD and IPOF. These are SPACs, and they have no merger targets yet. ZipTrader said IPOD and IPOF are trading at low prices right now and reminded us that these have a $10 floor. Next up is Li Auto. This is a Chinese EV company, and Stockmo said this is a good stock to buy now that could double. He said he is probably going to add more Li to his portfolio this week. Technically, this does look like it bottomed out on Friday and will start going back up this week. The average analyst price target is $38.67, which represents a 72% upside from Friday's closing price. Next up is NIO. This is NIO and their Chinese EV manufacturer. Larry Jones said that if NIO does not go up on Monday and instead dips again, he is going to buy more NIO. Next up is NNDM. This is Nano Dimension, and they're a 3D computer chip printer manufacturer. Larry Jones recommends buying NNDM if it retests Friday's lows. Next up is PLTR. This is Palantir, and they're a data analytics company. Larry Jones said that if PLTR retests Friday's lows, that would be a good price to buy in at. Keenan Grace and ZipTrader also went over the news that I let you guys know about in part 1 of this video, so if you missed that, please go back and watch part 1 of this video. Now technically this continues to look strong. I am not saying that we're not going to drop below the current support level of $24, but I am saying that the MACD is bullish, and the fact that PLTR refuses to drop below the $24 support level is also very bullish. So I would be comfortable buying PLTR at these current prices. Next up is RBLX. This is Roblox, and they're an online gaming platform. Keen and Grace let us know that Roblox will be going public on Monday via a direct listing. A direct listing is different from an IPO because in a direct listing, existing shareholders sell their shares directly to the public. In an IPO, new shares are issued, and that's not happening in this case. Now, if we take a look at the fundamentals, we can see that their revenue nearly doubled last year, which means this company is growing quickly. Also, if we take a look at the balance sheet, they have $800 million in cash and no debt. Now, this company is not profitable yet, but they're only burning through $50 million in cash each quarter. So they have 4 years of operating expenses in the bank. These fundamentals look great for a company that is new and growing. And year over year, their net loss is decreasing as they get closer and closer to profitability. At their current growth rate, they should become profitable within 4 years, and they have plenty of cash to get them there. Now, when it comes to new stocks, there are 2 things to look at. One is to play the initial pop, which usually lasts between 5 and 15 minutes. The way you play this initial pop is to set a limit order for some price higher than what the stock is expected to start trading at. In the case of RBLX, it is expected to start trading at $45 per share, so you might want to set a limit buy order at $50. Then, as soon as the stock starts trading, you watch it, and at the first red candle you get on the 1 minute mark, you sell. You can often make a 10 to 20% gain in just the first few minutes of trading by doing this. It doesn't always work, but it usually does. The next thing is to look at RBLX as a long-term investment. Since IPOs and direct listings are so volatile in the days after the stock starts trading, your best bet is to dollar cost average in over the first 1 to 3 weeks. So you might decide to split your money up into 3 to 10 equal buys and then spread them out so that you're buying a little bit every 2 to 3 days. Next up is SUNW. This is Sunworks. They're renewable energy, specifically solar. Smart Trader said SUNW has very strong support at $8.50, which it bounced off of on Friday. Now, personally, I see $8.50 as weak support, and I see strong support at $8. The RSI and MACD are both still bearish, so I think SUNW is going to bottom out at either $7 or $8, with $7 being more likely. Personally, I would wait to buy SUNW until it bottoms out and we get a clear sign of a reversal. Once we do get that reversal, though, Smart Trader sees SUNW getting back to its all-time high of $30. Next up is THCB. This is a SPAC. They're merging with Microvast. Microvast is a commercial EV battery manufacturer. Dead Inside briefly mentioned THCB on Sunday and said he might do a full video on THCB on Monday. Technically, THCB is still very bearish, although the RSI is starting to turn. If THCB can close up on Monday, then that could be what's needed technically to turn THCB around. So I do think THCB is near a bottom, and the bottom might have been on Friday, or it might come later this week. Next up is TSLA. This is Tesla, and they're an American EV manufacturer. Keen and Grace let us know that large institutions continue to buy TSLA in the $600 range. So anything under $600, and you are paying less than what the large institutions paid. Now, like I said yesterday, the technicals are still bearish, so I would wait for a bottom before buying. The bottom might happen sometime this week. Also, Chris Sane thinks TSLA is the second best stock to own if you're just starting out in the stock market, and Larry Jones said that if TSLA retests Friday's lows, that would be a good buy-in price. StockMo did say that he would be buying TSLA on Monday, although that is in his YouTuber stock picks portfolio and not necessarily what he will be buying personally. Next up is TTCF. This is Tattooed Chef, and they are a plant-based foods company and a competitor to Beyond Meat. Chris Sane said he thinks TTCF is the third best stock to own for new investors. Next up is WKHS. This is Workhorse, and they're an American commercial EV vehicle manufacturer. Keen and Grace let us know that WKHS reported earnings and that they were expected to show a loss of 13 cents per share. Instead, they showed a profit of $2.30 per share. At Friday's closing price of $13.73, that gives WKHS a stupid low PE of only 5.97. I would rate this a strong buy right now. In fact, I'll give a price target of $34.50 by the end of this year. That represents a 151% upside from Friday's closing price. Keen and Grace also let us know that ARK Invest bought more WKHS, and they now hold more WKHS than they do NNDM in their ARKQ fund. And if you look at the technicals, this is nearly oversold on the RSI, and the MACD is turning bullish. Friday might have been the bottom for WKHS. Next up is XONE. This is XONE, and they're a 3D ceramic and metal printer. We haven't talked about this stock in a while, so I wanted to give you guys a quick update. This stock is sold off just like everything else. It did bounce off of the 100-day EMA on Friday, which I like to see. Unfortunately, both the RSI and MACD are still bearish, so I do see XONE continuing to drop and hopefully find a bottom this week. Whether that bottom is at the 100-day EMA at $24.13 or at the 200-day EMA at $18.06 is hard to tell. So right now we just need to wait before we buy XONE. If you bought this last month, you should have gotten stopped out already, so hopefully you're not currently holding XONE unless you bought it on Friday. Once this bottoms out, we should have a nice rebound. The average analyst price target is $41, which represents a 44% upside from Friday's closing price. I will remind you that most of those price targets were set before XONE got its contract to build its portable 3D printer container for the US military. And finally, we have XPEV. This is XPeng. They're a Chinese EV manufacturer. StockMo showed us that he has an average analyst price target of $43.05, which represents a 53% upside from Friday's closing price. StockMo also thinks XPEV could double in the next 2 years. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. Comment down below what your favorite stock pick is. And if you want to get some free stocks, sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. When you sign up and deposit $100, they're going to give you 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850. They're also going to give me 1 free stock, so it helps you out and also helps the channel out. Finally, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.